Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I'm very happy to bring on a special guest. He is a model, a musician, and an actor. And I'm talking about Micah Juman. If I said your name wrong, I apologize. I'm going to have you say it when you come on the show. That I am the host that stutters. I am Rocco Cross, and this is my Grue Room. And welcome to my nightmare. Stay tuned for some fun interviews. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thanks so much for taking time out of your night, buddy, and coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I've been really looking forward to it. Like you seem like a really nice person.
Well, that's being an actor, right? I'm actually a jerk. No,
Hey, that's what you call good acting, then, right? So, the first thing I wanted to ask you, because I see you act and you also do shoots too for modeling. So which one of them came first? Was it acting or modeling?
Acting 100%.
Okay.
I think acting is where like the passion comes from. That's where like my craft is. And then like if there's a camera and someone's like smile and I'm like, then then so be it.
That was actually really good. Like you did that fast.
Like smile.
Wow. Okay. So I could see how you do both. Like you're on set doing your acting, and then someone wants you to do a photo shoot, and you do that pose real fast, right?
Right away. That's the instinct. That's what models do, right? When they're like, "Okay, look pretty," and they're like.
Yes, exactly.
That's the model face, right?
Wow, you definitely have it down.
Thanks.
So, like, what drew you to want to act? Like, what made you want to get involved with it?
So I'm the oldest of 4 siblings, and
Nice.
yeah, and I like to call myself the first lab rat. I'm like the test child. Like if my parents are gonna make a mistake, I'm the I'm the punching bag, and then they're like, okay, now we know what not to do. And then my siblings came along, but but when we would play like pretend play like Transformers, right? And like my brother Caleb would be like, all right, I'm Bumblebee. My brother Noah would be like, all right, I'm Ratchet. And for them it was playing, but like when I was like, oh, I'm Optimus Prime, like I was Optimus Prime. Like I got way too into it. I was like, I gotta save Cybertron. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just that instinct of like, I am Optimus Prime. And so when I was maybe in 3rd grade, I'll always credit this person for it. Her name is Mackenzie Hyde. She was one of my childhood friends. And
Okay.
she was like, hey, this the church I go to is doing this like theater thing. Everyone gets in. They're doing Annie. And I didn't even know what Annie was. Like I didn't know anything about theater. I was like, who's Annie? And she was like, oh, this might be a mistake. Never mind. She's like, maybe I shouldn't bring this guy. But I went and I was like in the first act of the show, and I wasn't in the second act at all. So like for the first half, I had like one line and I did some like musical numbers, whatever. And then the second half, I had to just sit backstage and do nothing. And even though I had to sit there for like an hour and a half and just be still, it was worth it. Like for those like 3 scenes I was in, it was worth it. I didn't care how long I had to wait after. And I think that's how I knew, like, all right, this is something I want to do. Like if I'm willing to just sit in a dark room for an hour and a half, so I get to be on stage for like 10 minutes, then like clearly I like this a little bit, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Clearly I have something going for me there.
So was that like your start? Because I was reading online you did a lot of plays like theater and stuff. Was that like your start for that world, the world of theater?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my grounding. I think and I'm grateful for that too, because I guess theater's a bit of a different ballpark than in like movies. For theater, you have to like cheat out for stage. You have to make sure you're loud. You have to be more of a performer, I guess, the jazz hands on stage, you got to be out there. And it's like more raw. It's more authentic. You're doing a scene. You can't be like, all right, cut, retake. It's
Mhm.
like, nah, do it right, man. You mess up, keep going. Like your granddad's in the audience. He's watching. What are you gonna do? You know, like. So it was cool because it's like, all right, if I'm gonna have a strong foundation, you know, a house without a strong foundation falls. So I want my acting foundation to be on something that's like, all right, you know what to do if something goes wrong. Your instincts are on point because you got to keep going. You can't just be like, wait, can we do that again? You just can't do that. You have to be like, I missed my line. Sucks. Like, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
So that was my foundation. That was where it started. And I'm very grateful for that.
Wow. Yeah, because I always see that, but like, you know, if I go to a play to watch a play, like I always think to myself, like, wow, I said these people are perfect. Like they're doing it line after line and not even screwing up.
I
And
know.
how,
It's like,
how do you do that when you're live on like you're doing line for line, word for word, and most of the times, like, you know, you're doing great, but then if you do screw up, you don't let the audience know. You just keep on
yeah,
going.
dude, it's tough, man. I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you, because it's not like you need to memorize a scene. It's like, oh, by the way, you have that like 3 hour show memorized, right? And it's only been like the third day of rehearsals, and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Take my word for it. Like, I don't, if you're doing that, like, if that's not my profession, I'm not going for theater, but if that is what you do, like, hats off to you, man. That is a, that's tough.
You're like, 3 hours? I got this. I got
Yeah,
it.
you're
I
like,
got it.
yeah, I'm good. They're like, why are you shaking so much, Micah? No reason.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot to, like, I wanted you to say your name when you first got on, because
Oh,
I think I butchered your name when I was introducing you before you came on.
all good. Micah Juman.
Oh, okay. Well, you said it right. I didn't.
Okay.
And I saw like one of the sets that you were involved with. I wanted to ask, how was it like being on set for a show like Pretty Little Liars?
Oh yeah, that's a big show. That was cool. That was that was so I booked a movie, Summer of the Wolf, before I did Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
And I had only done theater before that. So when I booked that movie, it was like, how the heck does a movie set work? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna like make a fool of myself. Forget knowing the 3 hour play. I'm not even gonna know, like, they're gonna be like, all right, action. I'm gonna be like, where do I look? Where's the camera? Do I look at the camera? Don't look at the camera, right? That's not something you're supposed to do. You know? So to have like, I did Pretty Little Liars as like just like background, and I ended up getting featured from it because I just went so often, and I was just figuring out how that like this world works, because it really is such a, it's like comparing baseball with football. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, both have a ball, but like not the same, man, not the same. So it was a cool entryway into like figuring out, all right, there's a different language involved, and they're like checking the gate. I'm like, what gate? No, I know what that means, you know? Like, I'm like, I was so lost. I was like, what is happening? So I went a lot, figured out how a set works, and then they ended up putting me as like the stage manager
Oh,
in one of the scenes. So like I got an IMDb credit as like the stage manager for Pretty Little Liars, which I think is like super cool.
yeah, definitely. Now, was this the current season, or was this like the last one?
So this is the Pretty Little Liars was the it was like the reboot. So it was like the newest version of Pretty Little Liars
Gotcha.
on
Gotcha.
HBO. So it was season 1, but it was like its own show. It was like a spinoff. It was like it's like a complete redo.
Yeah, because it was more horror, right? Like it was like
Yeah.
a horror series. Like I think it was like serial killer was going after them or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. They're being like blackmailed. It's kind of
Yeah,
dark. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
lie. I was like, okay, yeah. There's like people like on set are like walking around with bloody knives and props as if it's like a cup of coffee, and you just have to pretend like that's normal. Just kind of like, yeah, no, that's typical Wednesday.
you're probably looking at them saying, "Wonder if the knife's fake. I don't want to be
Yeah,
around
right. You're
it.
like, is that knife closed when
Is it a
you?
prop?"
Yeah. You'll go up to the prop person. They're like, "Wow, you really made the knife look realistic." And they're like, "What knife?" And you're like,
Right, exactly. And then that would be your cue to run off set and
yeah, and never come back.
yeah. And you've also done like a lot of shoots, photo shoots. And was there any photo shoot like you had the most fun with? Because I'm sure with doing photo shoots, they have you travel like a whole bunch of different places. So was there any shoot you like doing the most?
Not really for photos. I think most of the photo shoots I've done have been like for acting, like,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, so like it's not like my focus, I guess. But that being said, like the last photo shoot I did was in Connecticut. And that was cool because it was at like a train station. So like there was a few times like a train would be coming and they would talk and be like, "Go stand in front of the train, go quickly, quickly, quickly." And I'd have to pretend like I'm like natural as the train's like bulleting like 2 inches behind me. Like I take one step back and I'm like Spider-Man, like
Well, yeah. Yeah,
boom, out of the way. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to be Spider-Man, but maybe in like a different context, you know?
yeah, not when the train is coming full
Right.
full
Maybe not
force
that
at you.
moment of Spider-Man. Any other moment.
And I see you're gonna be part of a horror movie coming out summer of the Wolf. And how did you wind up getting picked to play Jimmy for this horror film?
Dude, that was a gift from God, let me tell you. So I had just graduated high school. I've only been out of high school for like a year.
Oh, okay.
I'm a baby. I'm a little baby.
Yes.
And I like I said, I always want to be an actor, but I didn't really have like I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like how do you get into that world? That's like the hardest
Mhm.
part is figuring out what you're doing. There's not like a game plan to that. So I like there was an open call for that movie, which open calls are like golden tickets. It's like, you know, they don't like you don't need an agent or anything to get through them. Sometimes like studios are just like, yeah, we'll throw a bone to those people. And everyone's just like, gimme, 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 you know. So I like sent in the audition thinking nothing of it. It was like, I'll send it in, whatever. I'm like, it's the last thing in my mind. And
Mhm.
I think like 1,000 people might have been up for it, give or take a few numbers. And just like, I think it was because I'm a martial artist and I think that
Oh, you
stood out to
are.
them. Yeah, I'm a black slash and wushu kung fu, which is like, if you've seen the Star Wars movies, the actor that plays Darth Maul, Ray Park,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's a wushu guy. So I think that stood out to them and they were like, yeah, we want to talk to you. And I was like, you do? Like, are you sure? I almost like was not doing myself favors. I was like, think about this. You want to talk to me? And
See,
it just worked out and I got cast and I'm so thankful because it was my way into all of this. So
wow.
I'm so grateful for that.
See, like that, when they're picking you, that's when you go in there saying, you know, of course you want me.
Right. You're supposed to be that way. I wasn't playing that very smart. Everyone else is like, yeah. And I was like, really?
Yeah, really? You sure?
Like, take your time on this. You
how how long have you been doing martial arts for?
So I was kind of born into martial arts. My dad was an instructor. He's a Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun, and Kali instructor. So he's like
Wow,
Mr. Ninja. He trained with like Bruce Lee students. He's like, that's his thing. And
really?
then yeah, and my mom, listen to this. My mom and dad met training. That's like their love story. It's like
Oh,
they met.
so
Like my
your
dad was
mom's a martial
teaching.
artist too.
Yeah, dude, I come from a family of ninja assassins. And I'm like the theater kid. I don't know how that happened, but but yeah, there was like they met. My dad was teaching at the college they were going to at the time. And
Okay.
my mom started taking the classes. And they fell in love. And you know, I came along, and so it's in my blood. Like right off the bat, it's like you are literally like just it's part of who you are. And then
Yeah.
when I was about 9 years old, I started doing wushu. And the cool thing about wushu is it's very acrobatic. It's very like theatrical. A lot of flips, a lot of just broad weapons, you know, and it's very flashy. So it was really easy to integrate into theater. Even like when I was doing stage stuff, like I would like every once in a while do like a cool kung fu flip in a show just
Nice.
because, you know. So I kept up with it, and after 9 years, I finally got my black sash, and it's cool. It's a cool thing to have under my belt, I guess, because it's like when you're a theater kid, the only thing like you focus on is singing, acting, and dancing. That's like the three pillars, I guess.
Mhm.
And no one ever thinks fight. Like not many theater kids can like throw a mean hook.
Right?
You know?
Exactly.
So it's a nice like twist on like, yeah, I can like tap dance a little bit, but I can also like take that knife out of your hands. Like, I think that's a cool combo.
It is. It's awesome. Well, see, it's a good thing your parents fell in love because you came out of it martial
I would agree.
artist, actor.
I would agree. I'm glad my parents had me.
Exactly.
I'm glad that was how that rolled out. Yeah.
So, you know, not only can you go on stage and do theater, go in films and do acting, but you could kick someone's ass as well.
If I needed to, yeah. I like to think so. I mean, that's one of those things that's like theoretically, yeah. Let's not find out for sure. Let's just assume and then keep it there.
Okay, there you go.
I don't want to be like, it's like I could take you on any day. Just gone.
So going back to the horror film, can you tell us a little bit about what the film is and who Jimmy is?
Yeah. So the really cool thing about this movie is we're trying to get like the retro werewolf vibe, you know, like thriller. No, I'm kidding. But like
I can
it is,
actually see you doing that.
right? Yeah, the musical werewolf.
Like,
Summer of the Wolf, dancing in a theater near you. No, it's cool because it's like it's got that old like retro werewolf vibe to it, but it's a new take on everything. He's not just some like, you know, like high school kid who's like, I'm a sexy werewolf, and it's not like he's I know, I mean, right, but no, like
there you go. Yes, there you go. You doing the pose.
I'm going to tell you, I'm a werewolf. It's not like Twilight, you know, and it's also
the
not
shirt being ripped off.
Right, yeah. Like this kid Jimmy has been through hell, like without the werewolf. Like he's had to go through so much as a kid. He's taking care of his little sister. He's barely seen his mom. There's a lot of family tension, and then on top of that, he's just going like through all this like pain, and he doesn't know why. And you know, you start to figure out that like he's a werewolf and like why he is a werewolf and how that happened, what that means. There's more than just one kind of werewolf. It's not a pretty picture. It's like it's very real, you know. Like one of the things I love is like when he's like transforming back and forth, like his hair's not pretty when he comes back, and he has like broken ribs, and he's like hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a, you know, on off to your will.
Yes,
it's like your body is like being destroyed, like pounded on every time you have to turn into this beast, and then you have no idea what you do then, and you turn back and you're just in pain. And I love that. You know what I mean? That's just
it's like I love that.
I love that. That's like what a werewolf is, you know? Like that's cool. So it was it's a unique twist on it. I'm trying so hard not to like spoil everything, but but like it's when you watch it, it'd be super fun. It's got a bit of a retro vibe to it, but it's also a whole new lens on the entire werewolf movie genre. And it's a ton of fun. And I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Oh wow, nice. I don't know if you ever saw the TV series Teen Wolf, and like so this is going to be different from that, where it's mostly a bunch of good-looking guys without their shirts on, right?
It'll be a little different, yeah, a little bit different than that, just a little bit. Hopefully there's at least one good looking guy with his shirt off.
Oh yeah, exactly. You, Jimmy.
It won't be me. But it is a unique twist on it. And it's kind of like a refresher on like what those old school movies are like. There's not many of those anymore. So it's a nice like revamp of like what an old school horror movie is, with, the classic blood slashing and
Nice.
just the stroll of a kid who's not even like 18 yet, just trying to like make his way through life. It's like Spider-Man, Peter Parker's get bitten by a radioactive spider,
Yeah.
And he gets chased through the city for it. And I turn into a werewolf, and people don't like that, but it is what it is.
I mean, I love like the old school wolf movies, like, you know, Silver Bullet and American Werewolf in London, and
Yeah.
they're like classics.
Right. There's just something special about those kind of movies, like you just want to sit down and watch a beast go nuts, there's a scene where like I had to turn into a werewolf, and I like just kept playing that Skillet song, like I feel like a monster, in my head over and over, just because I was like, I need to get into this, like, that's what people want.
So how's that like the whole process? Like, you must be on set for a really long time, like just the process of you as a human transforming into a wolf, like all the makeup and the suit, and then taking it off to be human again. Like that must be like a long day.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's honestly my least favorite part, is having things poking your eye to try to get like the little nitty gritty parts. It's like, come on, man, and I get it, it's essential, but it's also like, I'm a very jittery person. I'm very like energetic. So like, to tell me to like, all right, we need you to sit still for like an hour or two while we just do your face. Like, it's torture for me. I'm like, come on, come on, man. Let's go.
Oh man. So where was the film shot at?
It was by the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario. So out west of New York. Yeah. So it's upstate New York. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous at like the time of day, because it's like late summer, early fall time. So like the trees are just starting to turn. You've got all the mountains along the water. It was gorgeous. I love being up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I never been to that area, Canada. Like I always wanted to see it. Never went and saw it.
You would love it, man. There's a lot of wolves out there though, so be careful when you go. Some of them have their shirts off, and some of them are just, twinkling in the sunlight. You never know what you'll get, so just be careful. That's all I said.
Okay, thanks for telling me that. Like I will definitely run the other way if I see a werewolf, whether he's shirtless or not.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be scarier if he didn't have a shirt on. Like, like, why is this werewolf with 6-pack abs? Like,
yeah, I know, right?
Not my werewolf. That ain't me. That's some other werewolf. That other werewolf that doesn't skip leg day. He's coming after you.
Well, I mean, you must have been in shape to felt like did you go to the gym more often and work out heavy, knowing that you were gonna be, without a shirt on for some of the movie?
Well, yeah, it's like gotta make sure you're ready, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I've always been very like fitness conscious, I guess. I actually we had a huge gap in the movie where it was like in the fall you filmed a lot, and then you had some time off, and then we picked up in the spring because of the weather. And I had to stay the same weight, which sucked. So like I would like go to the gym a lot, just as much as I could, to try to like bulk. And then for like that entire gap, like I literally couldn't push myself. It had to be like, all right, you can like maintain, but here's like how much you weighed, and you can fluctuate a little bit within that time, but obviously like your camera's gonna pick up on it. And even like me, even as much as I did that, I got back and they were like, did you put on size? And I was like, no, like I tried very hard not to. And they were like, okay, we can say like, we can see a little bit that you have, but I don't think the camera will pick up on it. And I was like, come on, man. Like, it's so hard for you people. No, but
Yeah, exactly.
that was weird. That was tough because it was like, how do you like, you can't just not go because, you know,
Well,
you
yeah,
have to stay a certain shape, but it's also like,
exactly.
and there's only so much, you know what I mean? So then when we finally wrapped on that, it was like hard to like go back to normal working out because it was like, I felt bad for like trying to push myself. I felt like I was doing something wrong. It's like, how dare you give it all your all? You're better than that, Micah.
And how was working with the cast like for the film?
Oh man, they were so great. It was super cool because we all kind of, so some of them were local, some of them were actually like around that area. So they were
Oh,
able to like,
okay.
yeah, which was nice. It was like, you know, for actors being scattered across the world, not everyone can just be in New York City or LA, you know?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, it was nice to get to work with some people local there, but everyone had so much talent. Some people were from the city, some people were from, you know, Florida or wherever. And everyone was at a different experience level too. So it was really cool to come together and just like help each other. Like I said, that was my first movie and I was the lead, which is
Yeah.
like hard. You know what I mean? Like I know how to act, but I don't know anything about this world. So like to be able
Yeah,
to
exactly.
talk to people that have been doing this for longer, you know. I didn't even have an agent at the time. It was an open call, remember? So I had to like
Mhm.
get that. And like, how do you do that? So they were able to help me with that. And like it was super cool to all come from different experience levels in the same place, the same room, and just help each other. You know, iron sharpens iron, and they were able to. It was so friendly. It wasn't like a, oh, I'm at this level, so watch
Exactly.
me be better. It was like, no, let me help you. Like, which I'm so grateful for, because some people are like that. Some people are like, I've been doing it for this long. Here's all the stuff I've done, and it's like, come on, man, I haven't. Like, help.
But like that's really awesome. Like your
Yeah.
first film, and you are the lead star of the movie, and like that's also a lot of pressure too, right? Because being the lead, like you have to make sure the other cast like follows your lead, right?
Yeah, dude, it was definitely like terrifying knowing that it's like one thing to be a lead in a play when you've done plays before, or the lead in a musical when you've done musicals before, right? But like to lead people forward and like not know what you're doing, like that was definitely an adjustment.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but I was at the
you
same
did
time,
it
it was
well though.
nice. I hope so, man. I think it was nice to be able to be thrown in the deep end like that because you had no choice but to figure it out. It wasn't like you could ease into it. It was like, be ready. You know, I
Yeah,
didn't go into that doing character development before my scenes. It was like all the stuff I know how to do is done. So everything I need to learn, I can actually focus on. You know what I mean? Which was kind of like helpful. It was like, all right, all the things I can work on my character development. I can work on my, you know, my presentation, my physique, I guess, right? Like
there you go.
can do all that before I go. And then for all the stuff I have no idea what I'm doing, I can like learn because I don't have that preoccupying my mind. So I was lucky enough to be able to go in prepared, but that was definitely daunting.
Wow, yeah. And I always ask guests this when I have them on, like when they're part of a film or a series. Was there any like cool or funny behind the scenes stories that happened while you were filming?
So many, man. Some of my favorite ones actually from that movie. I've done some things out since, and that movie takes the cake for funny things. It was always like some of them were just stupid, but we were so tired that we thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Like one of the stupid ones. Like I don't even think anyone else finds this funny, but like one of the stupidest things that we still laugh about is like we were super late in a shoot one day, and like the line was like sack of potatoes. Like, hey, did you get the sack of potatoes? Like it was like because we're out in the cabins or whatever, you know, and it's kind of like it's not that important of a scene, but it's kind of like, you know, I'm being a little vulnerable to someone, whatever,
Yeah.
and someone comes in and is like, hey, did you go and get the sack of potatoes? And we were so tired and just like delusional at this point. She came in and she was like, the way she said it, she was like, did you get the sack of potatoes? And we just Like we were just dying laughing for like an hour. We couldn't finish, even though it's not that funny. we man, that was the peak of comedy for us. It's like now to this day, anytime there's potatoes on set, we can't keep ourselves together. So that's we were like laugh at just stupid stuff like that. But I know. It's just one of those things that's like, that's not that funny. And I'm like, you don't understand, man.
You had to be there.
You had to be there. And you had to not have any sleep like we did.
Try not sleeping for 10 hours and you had to be in that moment.
And then this funny peak of comedy, I promise. Kevin Hart couldn't come up with material that sack of potatoes did that time. You don't understand. There were other normal funny things too, I promise. We're not crazy.
I also see like you actually wrote a song. Like
I did, yeah.
What inspired you to write and make a song, and what's the name of the song?
Rollercoaster.
Okay.
Yeah. And man, that song was like my baby. That was like, it was always, so I've always, because of theater, I've always been in music. I was in a barbershop choir for a while. I was in like different choruses. But like music never came naturally to me. That was one of those things I had to like work harder at, you know?
Okay.
Like everyone else was like, would excel in like sight reading or whatever, and I would be slower behind. And that's just the way it was. So I had to work harder at it. And when COVID first hit and there was nothing to do, I would just like write sheet music and I would just write things, you know, like I was like, I want to get good at music. I can't be in a chorus or anything. I'm just going to make my own. And so then that Christmas, I got a guitar, learned guitar, and just started playing things. And then I, like in late spring or so, I just had this idea, you know, from like just personal experience, you know, basically liked a girl in high school, she didn't like me back. I know, typical like emo.
That definitely pulls on the heartstrings, whether you like a girl or a guy and they don't like you back, and you really are into them. Like
I know, like ruins your whole world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm grateful for it because it like gave me the creative juice to write that. Like I've been god awful at lyrics my entire life. Like I can never write the words to a song, and I wrote the lyrics to that in like a day. And I'm proud of them too. Like it was like clearly like there was a very like creative time, and I like just wrote the guitar part for it, and I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I like this. I want to like pursue it a little bit. And I spent like a year on it. Like I had trumpets in it at one point, took those out. That was a bad idea. But I had like I had all these different parts moving at once. I had to re-record it a million times. I had professionally produced, mastered, mixed, and I released it only a few months ago. I think, what's it now, September? So I think I released it in the late June, early July.
Oh, okay.
And,
all right.
Man, that was like, I gave that my everything. And I'm proud of what it came out to, because like I said, music doesn't come naturally for me. Just to have a song that I wrote from scratch. Like, it's not like I bought a beat and sang over it. Like, no, everything about that was mine. I played every instrument except for the drums. I just didn't have a drum kit, but played the bass, 2 guitar parts, sang. Like, that was just built from nothing. And it's just like, it's my baby. Like I spent so much time on it. Honestly, if I didn't cut the cord on it, like I could probably spend like 5 years on it and never release it. But I was like, all right, let's like, you have like, we need to move on. That's
Damn, that takes a lot of talent though, man. Like you're singing, you're playing the guitar, you're doing the bass, you're coming up with your own lyrics, like that. I mean, you did everything for that song.
I appreciate that, man, but it took the energy out of me too, man. I like,
I mean, that takes a long time to do. Yeah.
I would like have recording sessions till like 3 a.m, just like going, and like getting frustrated with myself. Cause like, do you play any instruments or anything?
No.
Fair enough. Well, anyone that does will learn, like, you'll play something super cool to yourself, and then the second, even if it's on your phone and you're like, I want to record that so I can listen to it later, you like forget how to play. Like all of a sudden you just like, all it takes is hitting record, and then your brain's like, nope. You can't do it anymore. So getting through it was definitely like like I definitely didn't think I would ever get it done. Like I was kind of like, this is just a dumb thing on my bucket list. I guess I'll never have it finished. So the fact that I do, like, I'm almost like scared to ever touch anything like that again, because I'm like, I don't even know how I got through this one.
I mean, I remember playing a video game that Guitar Hero.
Oh
And
yeah.
I absolutely sucked in that. So if I sucked in the game, I didn't want to take a chance on picking up the real thing.
I know what you mean, man. I suck at the game too. And honestly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person to ask to play Guitar Hero at a party. Let's just say. Someone's like, hey, I got Guitar Hero. I'm like, oh, cool. So what do you want to, anything, what's, you know, like, let's change the subject. I'm like, let's not touch that. They're like, you play guitar, right? And I'm like, yeah, and I want you to think I'm good. So let's keep.
So, what do you like doing during your free time when you're not, involved with acting?
A lot of different things. I write songs still. I haven't published anything or recorded, but I write a song like every night. It's just a fun way to like, yeah. Music is like, acting is my passion, but I can make that my bread and butter. And like, that's like what I feel like I really want to pursue. I want that to be my craft. Music is like, I want to enjoy it for just enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make that something that's like pressuring me. I want to just be able to write a song for fun, whether it's good or not. Like, I just created that. Cool. Let's move on. So I like to write a lot of music. I still train a lot of martial arts.
Nice.
I like to draw a little bit. My brother Noah, he's a cool artist. So every time I draw and I'm like, oh, Noah, look what I do. He's like, oh, that's cute. And then he shows me like his masterpiece. And I'm like, man, never mind. I'm like, I'm trying, bro. But I like to draw a little bit. I do really like working out. It's like therapeutic, just keep my head clear. I like to read a little bit, but my mom's like a theologian. So like I grew up on these like really like fancy books by like these like these philosophers and like, and I'm like, that's like what I grew up reading. So like when I read, it's like not leisurely. It's like
yeah.
It's like weird, like it's like in like concept of the universe, who is God stuff. Like so I should probably like read like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book or something and chill out.
I don't know, if you read something like that, it's not going to seem like anything after reading one of those books.
Fair enough, I guess. One of my favorite stories. So when I was in high school, I like didn't do my summer reading.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't do it. Like, cause like any kid, like most kids aren't going to go out of the way to do it. So I was like,
just getting ready to go to
school. Right. Yeah. Right. I'm like, well, there's this script concept for Summer of the Wolf that hasn't come out yet, but read that. No. There was like school in a week, had not read a book. And I looked at my mom's bookshelf and there was this like theologic book called Case for Christ. And I was like, I'll bring that because there's no way in anyone's right mind that they've read that before in school. Like, there's just no way. Like, so I thought I had the full concept plan. I was like, I'm going to bring this. I'll read like the first chapter so I can kind of talk about it. And then I'm golden. Like, no one's going to know what this is. No one can push me further. So I brought it to school and put it on my desk. I'm kind of cocky about it. I'm like, I figured this out. Like, I'm golden. I can do this every year from now on. And like, I'll never have to read again. And my teacher's coming around the desk and she looks at that book. She goes, oh my gosh, have you seen the movie? And I like froze. I was like, the movie? She was like, yeah, the Case for Christ movie. And I was like, yeah, the book's better. She was like, it really is. And she walks by and I look around and she's got like all these crosses and stuff around. And I'm like, the one time.
Oh my God.
Like this religious philosophy book. She's like aware of them. I was like, that's what I get, I guess. Yeah. So then I had to read it.
Well, yeah, of course you did. Oh my God.
So that's probably why I read those, because I have a like lingering fear that like my teacher's gonna knock on my door one day and be like, she's gonna be like, Mike, I haven't seen you in 10 years, but have you read this one?
Yeah, exactly. and, and I again, I always ask guests this when I have them on because I'm a big horror fan. Do you like horror movies? And if you do, what are some horror films you like to watch?
That's the funny thing. Normally, no. Normally, I'm not big on horror. So for my first like debut film to be a horror movie was kind of like, I was like, what? Like I was like, hopefully I do this right. Like I don't even, So I had to watch them. I had to like, I don't like the horror movies that are just dark for the sake of being dark. Like
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to be scared other ways. Like, have you seen the horror? Have you seen Frozen? Not the Disney one, like the horror one.
No,
That's a
no.
cool one because that one's
I
like
didn't know they made a horror movie called Frozen.
they did. It's been outwashed by all the Elsas, but listen, it's cool because it's like the story of like these three friends they go skiing, and
Okay.
like it's about to shut down like the entire resort for like 5 days. And they beg the guy to let him on one more time, and the guy operating the like lift is like, yeah, sure, you can go on real quick. And then he leaves to go to the bathroom and has his buddy cover for him, and then his boss is like, hey, you need to shut it down, and his buddy doesn't know that they're on still, so he shuts off the lift, and those three friends are stuck on the lift on the mountain with nothing. It's like freezing cold, and there's wolves coming out, and they're like, they don't know how to get home safe, and like they all try to escape, and that's freaky because it's like real, you know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah,
that could
exactly.
happen. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's like a horror movie where like I guess it's not like it's just made up. It's just made up. It's like no, that could happen. Like frick, like
Oh, I know.
So that I like movies like that because then it does really get you. It's like the lingering fear of like, you know, it's not like oh this is fiction. That monster doesn't exist. Those werewolves aren't real. It's like no, wolves are real, and they
Yeah.
could be huddling. That person that's so that's freaky. I like movies like that.
Wow. Oh man,
Like I think you like that.
I definitely want to see that now because
Yeah.
I'm a big horror fan. So as you can
Yeah.
tell with the Chucky thing.
Yeah. You don't say.
Yeah, you
I
don't
never
say. Just
thought
that creepy doll staring at me the whole interview. I don't know if you do you watch wrestling at all, like the WWE?
I used to a little bit. My cousins were really into it, so I like to watch that, but
Okay. Well,
not too much.
did you ever hear the wrestler there, R Truth?
Maybe.
Well, I interviewed him like
Okay.
about two weeks back,
Oh wait,
and I
I
had
think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and I had like the Chucky, how it's set like this,
Yeah.
and towards the end of the interview, our truth, he was like, because he was doing like this like press tour, and he had to do like 10 interviews in like one day, and
Mhm.
I was one of them, and I was only allowed to interview him for like 10 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So at the end of the interview, I was like, well, I hope my interview stood out to you more than the others. He went, oh, it sure did. He said, no other guy had a creepy looking Chucky looking at me.
He's like your bouncer. He's just like through this whole interview, he's like, answer the question. Think twice before you answer. Chucky's just looking into your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I'll definitely remember it. That's definitely. You should give him his own name. You shouldn't he shouldn't just be Chucky. He should be like
I,
Daryl. Like name him
I,
Daryl or something.
yeah, just call him a different name, right?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that could be Micah. Name him Micah. Micah. We need more Micahs in the world. That could
There
be
you
your Chucky
go.
Micah.
And Halloween is coming up. Do you like that season? Like, do you go to like different haunted houses or anything, or dress up?
Well, like normally I'd always go as like a superhero. Like I like to be like I've been Spider-Man before, and I've been like, one year my friends were making fun of me because they said I sounded like Sid the Science Kid. It's like a children's show. And so I went as Sid the Science Kid to a Halloween party. Like I was like, I'm looking for my friends. I'm looking for you. I don't even know that show, but it's an unsettling canny. Like I hate to admit it, but I kind of do sound like him. So like it changes, but this year I'm kind of thinking I might just do the werewolf thing. Like I kind of
Oh,
avoided that last
yes.
year, but I was like, now I'm like, all right, maybe if I'm gonna go as a werewolf, now's the time, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And then, if anyone asks the costume, say you have to watch my movie.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? There it is. Free press. I think we've decided. I think this werewolf will have his shirt on for everyone's sake, because no one wants to see all that. So I'm gonna keep mine on. But
Well, I mean, you say you go to the gym and stuff, so I'm sure you're fine.
I appreciate that, man. But listen, they're gonna be like, why is like your head a wolf and your arms and legs wolf?
Yeah, that's
Your
true.
chest is like a dude.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I'm a werewolf. This is the were part.
And what about like songs and stuff? What kind of music is on your playlist?
Man, I have so I listen to a lot of different stuff, but I think like if I had to name a favorite genre, I love like pop punk. I guess
Okay.
like
Okay.
I like that. I like Yellow Card,
Yeah.
The Dreamers, Blink 182. I've always liked
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sound. That's like Rollercoaster's like that kind of song. So I like the pop punk vibe, but like if I'm at like my playlist, like I have a main playlist where I just kind of throw everything into it. It's like a junk drawer of songs.
Mhm.
And like anything is gonna come up. You could have like Broadway, jump to rock, to rap, to like opera, to like you don't know what you're getting. So I can find a way to listen to anything. But if I had to pick like a comfort genre, I like
Yeah.
my like
Oh.
like I like that. I like that.
And what would be like a go-to karaoke song for you if you were doing karaoke with friends?
Ooh, is this a challenge? You challenge me to karaoke? Listen, man, I'm ready to bring it. No. Pulls out a microphone.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, I got the microphone. No, I'm like joking.
No,
My voice.
Man, that's a tough one. I love Disney songs. It has to be a Disney song, right?
Okay.
I feel like it'd have to be. You know what? For the martial arts sake, I'll say I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan, just because like it's all that kung fu vibe. So I can be like karaoke with like a kung fu moves while I'm like, let's get down to business. I think that's my golden ticket right there. I think that's
all right. Okay.
But if you have any suggestions, let me know. When we have our inevitable karaoke off, I need to be prepared. I need to know.
Well, if you're gonna do that song, you have to show up in your gi.
Yeah, that's true. With like a staff in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the man, like the bun tied. Like, listen, when I'll make sure if that ever happens, I'll make sure you get a video of it. I promise you.
Okay, great. And what about like apps? Is there like a certain app you like most? Like, are you TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat?
Yeah, I think Instagram probably my favorite, just because like maybe Snapchat, but like I can't like I hate Twitter. Honestly, I try so hard to get behind Twitter, and I'm like, this is just texting for everyone.
Basically, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't like Twitter that much, but I love Instagram. Instagram's cool.
Okay.
I feel like I find myself getting lost in time on Instagram more than TikTok, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And what about sports? Are you into any sports?
Soccer is a big part of my family. I was a goalie for a while.
Oh, you were? Wow.
It was.
Like I'm finding out all this really cool stuff about you, martial artists and soccer. And
I try to do a little bit of everything, man, if I can. Now I just got to go to the moon, but that's the goal, right? No.
Right, exactly. I mean, you're doing everything else.
Yeah, right. Shoot a movie on the moon. That's a soccer movie that I also fight werewolves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the pitch. No. But yeah, no, soccer is fun. I played baseball for a while too, but I never got that far into baseball. I actually was gonna play baseball for my high school, and then Newsies, the musical, was like the show our school was doing, and I like picked the musical over baseball, which like most kids in high school don't do that. They'd be like, why would you pick, like, what? That was definitely a bolder choice, but I wasn't good at baseball. I played it, wasn't good at it. So that's why I think I was like, yeah, Newsies. But soccer's fun. Soccer is definitely one that I would get back into. I kind of wish I played more soccer. I like stopped after middle school because I was like, I can't keep up with theater and sports. And that's what sucks, is it's always like soccer season's like play season, baseball's like musical season, So it's like you really do have to pick your battles, which sucks because it's like I like soccer, I enjoy it, but you're making me pick between like what I really love and what I want to have fun with. And it's like, obviously I'm picking one, but like it kind of sucks that I miss out on the other. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could always play it for fun, like
That's true.
Go in the
That's
park
true.
with some friends and kick the ball around.
Yeah, I would love to kick the ball at my friends. I mean, to my friends. Now you can see why no one wants to play with me.
Well, me and you go on the field, and I'll either be the kicker or the one getting kicked.
No, listen, I think you would crush me in soccer. I feel like you have like a secret talent you're not telling me about.
I
then we'll go on the field and you're gonna be like.
I mean, I used to do wrestling, but nothing with soccer.
Right? Yeah, I read into that. That's awesome, man.
Yes.
And then you would probably you would just kick my butt. Like all my martial arts out the window. Like, like let's go, and then you'll teleport to the side and just tackle me to the floor.
I mean, I did do the independent pro wrestling for 15 years. So
awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good for you. That's so cool.
So
I'm too chicken to get into that. So good for you, man. Honestly.
Well, I mean, yeah, you definitely have to love it to stay in it, because you get brutalized. And I had injuries and concussions. My head got split open twice.
Wow, geez, dude. Then I'm like I said, I'm too chicken to get into.
I even got stabbed. I got stabbed in the head with a fork. One of the wrestlers pulled like a fork out and was jamming it in my head until I was bleeding.
Jeez. So yeah, you would win. You know how to take a hit.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. Yeah.
With a fork. That guy really wasn't forking around, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of my like it when I tell people one of my matches, like during shock, because I even had pictures. I'll send you over a picture. You'll see it.
Yeah.
I wrestled a 7-foot woman.
Oh wow. Dang, man, the stories. You could write a book. You should write a book. I need a break from the theology. Yeah, write a book. I'd love to read it.
And, what about gaming? Are you a big gamer at all?
I'm notoriously bad at video games.
Same.
God awful. In fact, my friends are all really good at them, which makes it hard when we're hanging out at their house. Because one of my best friends, Ian, is like overall just a great gamer. He's like, he any video game I ever did play was because of him. He was like the only push I had into any of that. And he would just like make it look so natural. He would like spin his character on like 10 times and get like a headshot. And I'm still looking at the floor, spinning around, trying to figure out how to look up. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Not my go-to talent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I will say there was one video game. There was one video game where there was like a ninja character. And so I started playing that because I thought maybe I can like, because it's a ninja character, I can like maybe be good at him. And I was kind of good at that game.
Okay, because you already know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I know how to double backflip off a skyscraper like he did in the game. Yeah, so I know. Yeah.
And lastly, like, where could fans follow you at?
Instagram, like I said, is my favorite. Tag is just Micah Juman, MICAHJUMAN. And then I have Facebook, but it's just the same as Instagram. And I don't want to admit that I use Facebook. I feel like that's like where my parents are all on social media. And I'm not ready to, like, you know how they say you become your parents?
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait a little bit before that. But I am on
Okay,
Facebook.
good.
I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter too. I just same tag. It's just I'm still figuring out Twitter. So if you follow me there, bear with me if I'm like like, why do you post that same thing 10 times in a row?
Yeah, exactly.
You've been warned here first. Why?
Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, dude, I want to see pictures. I don't want to see a picture of the fork in your head. I'd rather
Oh,
just
okay. Well,
I mean, I guess if you have it,
no
send
one,
it.
no one ever took the picture of the fork going in my head, but
No one
I
said smile.
the after effect of the fork, like I'll show it to you when we get off
Okay.
here.
Cool. They were like, smile real quick as they're like trying to get it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you so much, man. I really had a blast. It was awesome.
Definitely, buddy.
So
definitely. Well, have a really good weekend.
thank you so much, man. You too.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.